completely different ideas, like a much newer meta, newer agents comp, and then one that, again, you go back however many years since Breeze was in the pool, and you could have seen it then and there. So it's more going to be who gets it right. I'm looking forward to seeing Izzy, though. Echo as well. But it's Crashy's up top, looking for the opener, but Izzy already with his first opening kill of the tournament. I feel like there's going to be a lot of those.
Pretty decent chance. We'll keep tabs on it as we go, but already first blood against the old Kings of Fnatic. Remember, this is where they tend to bounce back, and we're certainly looking for a resurgence after kickoff. Fnatic even had Boaster talking about playing more aggressive, but for now, it's Eternal Fire controlling the pace, moving in towards this A site and challenging the man himself. Boaster surrounded, his teammates on the way, trying to chip away and stay alive on the backside, but they are being demolished! Eternal Fire with a flawless opening to map number 1.
Yeah, not a bad way to go. An in-zone flawless for Eternal Fire in their first round in the league. And of course, we've already highlighted some of the players last time out with Neki, who was playing, leading that sort of, well, mismatch of a roster. But we spoke a lot about Echo. And if you watched Ascension, you might be going, oh yeah, I remember Echo, but he didn't play with Ulf at kickoff. He wasn't old enough. He's now old enough to be able to play. And already a couple of kills onto the board. And that's the thing, I feel like there's a lot of expectation going into this game that Fnatic, well, if they are going to be that team that makes a run all the way to London, which is a long way away, they almost need to blitz this game. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I think this Eternal Fire roster has a lot of very talented players. Oh,
this is a team that can upset even the best. Maybe prove that that might be them. For Fnatic, presence towards this A site early. Default being spread out by Eternal Fire, though, feigning the pressure on the A site while sending players out elsewhere. Indeed, 2 for 2 on Izzy, although it's against an eco. You know, the caveats there, but really confidence is a huge thing for Eternal Fire as well. You come in onto this stage up against Fnatic, and the more rounds they can tally up early, the more they're going to feel like exactly what Echo said in the interview is true. He was asked, you know, where would you place yourselves in the groups, put themselves up towards the top 2, and even said, Fnatic, they're not very good.
Yeah.
Well, they certainly weren't in kickoff.
Ooh, okay, this is starting to get a little bit dicey. The round where it was only classics for Fnatic. They've got rid of what were the weaker weapons. The Sheriff alongside, well, the gun that's now in Alfia's hands. The rest of them have rifles, though. Winning is going to be difficult, but any additional cost would be fantastic. And already, look how low at least Echo is. Down to a 2v2, weaponry firmly in the favor still of this Eternal Fire squad. And they will get the job done, but it was not clean.
No, it was close to a big response from Fnatic where they've got next to nothing brought to the table. As we said, confidence a big factor, but still a chance to recover that as they move into round 3, decently armed without too much of a cost to it. That's not the kind of fight you want to be losing up against the Classic. Oh my God, from downtown. But yeah, for Eternal Fire, you love to see the attitude early on in the interviews. You love to see the energy down on the stage. But a 2-0 start, this is where things could go wrong as Fnatic take the full buyout. But as we said, it's not like there's a massive gap in terms of the firepower on most players. And Eternal Fire doing what they do best, the 4-man group, the death ball moving towards top mid, and a challenge for Kayak any moment now. He can get out, but not with a shot to the head like that. Fabian following up with the body, and now the site under heavy threat with Crashies having a complete misread on the pace. They're already in their face. And the aggressive play from Eternal Fire, it has given them what could be another flawless in Fnatic's first full buy.
Yeah, they were just absolutely obliterated them. And it's not like they did anything particularly complicated, just moving together as a unit, keeping it nice and simple. I think especially on those early attack side rounds, these are exact sort of plays you want to see succeeding. Like they haven't had to go for any fakes, try and play a ruse. They've just walked straight up short, straight down mid, and taken the fight onto Kayak. And it's another one of those players where we've seen him really have an identity shift in the sort of recent times because of how strong Yoru is, to play mostly only Yoru. And while so far that Neon doesn't seem to be going fantastically, Boaster will at least deny another flawless, but yeah, this really isn't the start that Fnatic were looking for.
Talk about these guys We know that they've got the individuals, but it's not like on Fnatic those are missing. Typically, right now, Kayak in that opening fight, he got decimated. Crashy's caught off guard. Alpha fell almost immediately. They are making it look easy. And the biggest threat was the anti-eco from what we've seen. Most damage done by Fnatic with Classics in their hand. And now, well, they're right back there. They're not quite the Classics. You know, the economy's building up slightly so they can afford some Sheriffs, some Ghosts, even a Bandit in play. But this is not the start that they would have hoped for when the whole narrative of this game is Fnatic need to win dominantly if we're to believe in the bounce back that we've seen from them before. Kickoff's always been the curse, but usually it's over by now.
Oh yeah, they've got Vitality coming up next week, and I think looking throughout this group, okay, maybe I'd put Pacific on the low end, but I don't think there's any easy games.
It's another opening duel for Izzy, but this one doesn't go his way.
It's his first loss. I'm also really interested to see this sort of, well, it's not new, but this newer version of Harbor and EMEA, because it's just not played. It's not an agent that's popular whatsoever, and so the Boaster always been the one to sort of push the boat out. But Breeze has never really been that much of a success story. For now, the trade's looking fantastic.
Oh,
well,
man.
An attempt from Boaster. Instead, though, it's right back to comfortable fashion for Eternal Fire in these early rounds, and Bekaj and Crashies just need to make it costly. They're not. Echo is just slamming them.
Well, yeah, he came in talking smack. It's good to see him backing it up from the very first barrier up. He's hunting down a bit more. He already got his ult, as if you'd be hunting for it. But he's looking for something more. And unfortunately, he pays a price, giving a rifle over to Crashies, and if he can get out of here with it, well, he can. He has the choice. He has the option, but he wants to make it more costly, put a dent in that economy, and it's not going to happen. A 4-0 start to Eternal Fire. It is worth mentioning. It's their map pick, yada, yada, but the way that we're getting here, the last round in particular, not this one where they have pistols, but the one previously, it was far too dominant, and they just can't allow that to happen again.
Bear in mind, this is also Echo's first 4 rounds in VCT.
Yep.
That was his first death.
8-1.
He's 8-1 right now.
Oof.
A couple of kills around for the youngster, and well, you saw it in the interview just before.
Fnatic, they've called a timeout. They've looked to reset. The change clear as Kayak comes into this round with an operator. 3 players, possibly 4, ready to blitz into mid. Fnatic are looking to fight.
Oh, command already utilized. They may have spotted the Boaster's ult is ready. The Reckoning won't be coming down onto them just yet, but that does mean that Fnatic can look to play the retake already, though. First player lost the operator as well, not able to connect, and Althea trying to wrap back round behind. There are 2 players around this angle waiting. Echo sort of had his number so far. Shield activated, but he doesn't expect anybody that close. And Echo again just takes over. He's meant to be the sort of knife in the back, the lurker. He's been anything but front foot forward. And Fnatic, well, we talked about them taking a foot forward. Right now, it's looking like a step back.
Yet again, think about, oh, well, hold on. This off is under threat and taken down as well. No safe haven for Fnatic as Eternal Fire 5-0. Flawless when they face the full buys as well. This is ridiculous.
Another in-zone flawless. It's crazy.
Oh my goodness. And for these guys, the fact that they set up for a mid-fight when we've seen multiple times that cage for the cross. No way to fight behind it if the reveal is broken. The A site under threat, pressured with only Bekaj there. He started the round inside of the spawn towards B. So he'd only just made it to the A site as the attackers did. That was a complete fumble after a timeout from Fnatic. They are at least able to buy up here. But no operator in the hands of Kayak. It's a big piece missing, or well, maybe not missing. It's in the hands of Izzy instead. They've better armed their opponents. And this time, Eternal Fire, they get rid of that pacey aggression, sitting back and waiting for Fnatic to try something else.
I've seen the Neon Judge become very, very popular as of recent. So if anything, this might be the gun of choice for Kayak, but it's safe to say that his start to this game so far, as a man who last year, especially in Stage 1 and Stage 2, is putting up MVP performances, not quite there just yet. is early days in the league, but expectations on Fnatic are extraordinarily high. Alfie are in a great position. I think he's been seen. He has. And again, what? The Echo's walking into crossfires and eliminating both players. They were waiting and watching for that exact fight, and he still comes out smelling the roses.
This is unbelievable. Again, it's not like this is an eco from Fnatic, but every round so far has looked like it, except the eco.
This is debut map.
An outrageous performance in Fnatic. They're already left to save, surely, if they can even manage that, because guess who controls the A site, mid and B, everywhere, in the grip of Eternal Fire, and they are not loosening it. Another spotted and dropped by Fabian, no weapon saved, another in-zone flawless for Eternal Fire, and the Kings of old gone missing. 6 rounds in, and a handful of kills is all Fnatic have to report. Echo outshining the entirety of the opposition.
Well, yeah, we are 6 rounds in to his debut map in VCT. He's averaging 2 kills a round, which, if you were wondering, is insane. They have had 3 in-zone flawlesses, and they should have had 4.
Yep.
It was just Boaster saving on the other side of the map that managed to kill 1 player. Credits through the roof, in case you were wondering, and now they're just that's Alfie. You can't do that to Alfie. You can't just dash and kill him immediately. Under pressure, though, Crashes has done well. They have an advantage for the first time, well, actually, first time at all. It's the first time I think they've had an advantage. And maybe about to be a first round.
Yeah, the Hunter's Fury put through. Left Izzy with next to no HP, an easy cleanup. The op swapped out as Audas now steps forward, but players on either side, it's a crunch, and Bekaj doesn't even need the help. Fabian left to do it all, and we could finally see that first round for the favorites. It all comes down to Fabian to see how much he can get done, but they are ready and waiting. And the first man to cross has to be Kayak. He gives him the space, 47 HP, an easy cleanup and a headshot to confirm it. There it is, a round win for Fnatic. And it was a bit of a shaky start with that dash in from Izzy, but they extended a little too far. Honestly, for Eternal Fire, that's just confidence. I don't mind them playing one round like that, but we're probably going to go back to the death ball, and that's a whole different challenge.
Yeah, well, the worst thing is the flash didn't even catch. That was just him raw out-aiming Alfia. And, well, the duelists on Fnatic have been having a horrible time. 1-7, 1-6. Like, it's been a very, very quiet start from them. That needs to change. But they've got a round onto the board. It's not going to be a 13-0.
Get out of my way!
They still have Boaster's ultimate. The kill contract also available for Alfia, although I don't know if he wants to take a 1v1 at this point, but Izzy has been dealt with, and there's Kayak. Again, it's been rough so far. He's looking to still go. Alfia now pincering alongside Dim, and they are getting rushed down. Only Neki remains. A 1 versus 4.
Now, this is much better from Fnatic. The main problem has been around mid, the fact that they're able to cross for free. Now we're seeing the reveal go in a little delayed 2 rounds ago this time, and the last. It was a lot of presence around the door, quick crunch in from mid. Because when they tried to do it with 4 players on top mid, that was the first solution to the problem. And again, that hinges on the reveal catching a lot. And once it didn't, once it was destroyed, well, where do you go from here? They've just walked into the A site. So the adjustment to have that extra player towards door, it pays dividends. 2 rounds on the board, many more needed. I mean, Fnatic, they want to start running away with this, and at least for the last 2 they have.
Yeah, much better from them, and there's Kayak once again. Fabian into the 1 versus 1, and Alfia taking it. Those double duelists that were quiet just moments ago have really started to come alive. Aggressively taking space with the operator, though, has dealt a blow. Echo, the space should have been hurt. They should know exactly where he is, but again! It's a bit of a blip from Fnatic, but even still he had to hit both shots. They're going to know where both are. Reveals onto Bekaj, who's trying to hold on, and well, an early start with a 2-man advantage crumbles at the hands of Echo. This guy is having a debut to remember.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just on air going to request the graphic for, I don't know, whether it's between maps, whether it's the next map, get a little side mortis going. His stats in Ascension looked all right. Like he was doing his job as a Sentinel. Right now, he looks like a generational duelist playing a Cypher.
I would almost ask
16-3.
a question of Captain Cal. What is the greatest debut of all time? Because
yeah, Kata had a really solid map one, I remember.
Woots had some. Woot had a great debut.
This is ridiculous, man.
I think Navira, we're going back a bit, but he had an insane debut. But yeah, 16-3. It's up there. It's up there.
Yeah, you'd ask the question, can he keep it going? But he just did. That was a huge round for Eternal Fire. Oh, even the fact that he's alive is ridiculous. Look at the damage done. 5 and 9 HP. Both duelists hanging on for dear life. And the A site being overrun. Izzy's made it through. Still a man behind. Well, not anymore. A pick for Neki, and now this can bring so much value with the late play from Audas. He doesn't have pressure on his shoulders anymore. The spike planted, they'll look to cross in, and the man who's caused them problems waiting around those doors already dead, but in comes Audas, dealt with by Vikash. Advantage swings their way, damage done. But it's Neki that has to pull this off with no idea on the final player. There's the info, but the connection goes the way of Fnatic. A third round, much needed. They're going to trail at the halftime. The question is, by how much?
Vakash does well there. Like his late push through, winning that initial battle, but then just allowing them to hold on to at least a little bit of additional space. An incredibly close round, but Fnatic won't mind close. As long as they're getting the rounds onto the board. 3 of the last 4 after a 6-0 deficit. Starting to look more and more doable, but I hate to just be a broken record, but you look at the trap play they set that was only on Echo, and the fact that he does, what, like almost 300 damage? It is really scary how good he is looking right now. And not shying away from the same fight. He's going back in towards mid again.
Two rounds left in the half. Still possible to beat. A commanding lead for Eternal Fire. In the worst case scenario, they've got a bit of a margin to work with. Going into the next, the pressure put on to Boaster yet again. He's got support. Kayak's off now, rotating through, looking for an angle around the back. And he's got it posted up. Cloudburst pushes him back a moment. Echo trying to sneak his way, slither into the back lines. And Boaster's the one to fall for it. He doesn't stop there, but he's put to a stop by Alphier as they keep fighting their way back into this. The op shot missed, but they were out of ammo. Kayak gets a second lease of life. Lucky to still be drawing breath deep into this round, but it won't be the case for much longer. Eternal Fire, another on the board. 8 guaranteed, and a 9-3 half on the horizon.
Yeah, they just continue to push and pressure Fnatic. Every time there's an attempt to gain space back, just look, you got Echo fighting, you got the swing towards Yellow, a swing towards Spawn. Like, they are constantly putting the pressure on as their opponents try to retake. And Fnatic have always been very good with post-plant utility, setups into the play. They're not allowed to have a setup in the retake because of the way Eternal Fire are playing. It's brutal, it's brute force, and it's working.
This is a game of the hungry
good luck.
up against the legacy of Fnatic, and for now at least, Neki, the one to find the opening. The Kings of Old being put to bed. A 5 versus 3, the A site showing no signs of faltering for Eternal Fire. They're going to keep going aggressive? I mean, it's been a piece of their gameplay from the word go, but they're not expected to be up this close. Kayak manages to round his way back over to his teammates so the trades can come through, but even still, it's Eternal Fire miles ahead in every fight. Crashy's tagged on the other side of the Cosmic Divide, and he can't even break through. They are waiting, a firing squad on the other side, and he will meet his doom at their hands. 9-3. Eternal Fire showing up in a level I don't think anybody expected.
No, it's been an insane first half. Echo finishes at 18-5, and well, it's going to need to be one of the classic comebacks if Fnatic are going to turn this. We'll find out after the break. Different as it's their choice, but it is a damning sight to see 5 sort of youngsters, a lot of rookies on the stage, running it down, and the one that's brand new and played his first half in VCT, dominating you.
Dominating, very much so. Every fight's felt like it went their way. Now how do Eternal Fire manage the defense? And already you can see Izzy feeling confident, out here looking for some picks, and he hears that ISO shield and gets the hell out of there. It's the right call. Keeping that fight nice and ranged. The pressure won't be put on, but movement towards the A site now from Fnatic. Blood in the water, and they can swim right in to fill that space. It's Audaz. It's going to be pretty much isolated if they can close that distance quickly with the rotates cut off. But now he's got a bit of help. Tries to pounce with Neki, but it's Alphier finding two. And things falling back into the hands of Fnatic, at least for now.
Yeah, it goes desperately low.
Spike play.
Izzy still healthy, but they're going to split up and look for clues. But on the other side of things, Fnatic are not just waiting to be surrounded. They are watching every angle. The pre-fire not quite landing, and Crashy should have him dead to rights. That leads Izzy, a man who's been on Eternal Fire for quite a while, but not with this set of players. First comes easy, but the next two you have to feel are going to be much more difficult. Sitting back, Alfia on the site, and Crashy's just playing, running all the way, making sure there's no chance of a defusal, and even going to close him out in the end.
A pistol round and a much-needed one for Fnatic if they're to climb their way back into this map. Again, this is the pick of Eternal Fire. They will feel confident in the Vine that's coming up next, and historically being a better map for them, but you don't want to go in with just a handful of rounds, and Eternal Fire feeling like they're the better squad.
Allez, allez les frères.
Yeah. But this was where Fnatic did most of the damage, Tom. This was one of their most competitive early half rounds, was just with Classics. I wouldn't hold my breath for the same on Eternal Fire.
No. I think with all players on the other side having a weapon of sorts, with Kayak being the only one with a weaker gun, like they are looking to come out of this one with 4 players alive, so expectations incredibly low for Eternal Fire. But I think Fnatic will know it as well, that you can't even really afford to have a quote-unquote bonus round with how far behind you are. You don't want to give Eternal Fire anything. You almost want to replicate that 6-0 start that the Turkish squad had. By the looks of it, well, it's either an attempted play to catch them as they exit, or just dying to the spike.
Yeah, it seems that's very much what they're going for. Just tucking away. Looking to make this costly. 3 players I see moving towards the attacker, or sort of defender spawn, but the rest, well, they could be in trouble. Alpha looking for orbs, finds himself 2 with his death. And Boaster, he's not going to make it away, is he? Oh, just about. Slips his way to safety. Wonderful stuff. As a 9-5 scoreline shapes up, Fnatic, this is where the big test comes. Rifle round for Eternal Fire.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they have on the attack, because I think, especially ISO and the ultimate in play, you can pick someone out of a position. You can make it so that even if you lose, they'll be dead on the site. I also think with Boaster's utility, this is where he can make things much more difficult for opponents, like especially that high tide can section off angles that regular smokes can't do. I also want to see if he can hit much with the Storm Surge. We used it late at the last bit of the round to sort of catch players on the exit, but didn't really have much impact when it came to that defense.
I think they're going to just fire Alpha's ult through off this drone. Ready to roll.
You and me.
And there it is. They caught Oda as the shield was up. Even if he finds one, he's not getting much more after. Decent damage, but Alpha won't fall. Comes back into the fight, ready for a brawl as Fnatic
Take flight.
find themselves the plant, the man advantage, and it's Eternal Fire knocking on the door.
It seems like part of the game plan. They were looking to get orbs for that ultimate in the last round, and if you can remove a player from defensive positioning, it becomes so much harder to even have any sort of delay. Echo in position, but they are losing fight after fight, looking much better from Fnatic. This attack side execute goes perfectly, and they'll now only be 3 rounds behind.
Well, this is exactly what Boaster promised earlier on. Said, you remember back in the Summon FC days, we were capable of a very different play style. The team now known for running the clock down, rather.
Yeah.
Bringing us to 15 seconds without even having the spike on a site. But they used to have that little flair to them. Back in the days of Mo, 40, and Chak.
Come on, boys!
You used to see them play some very direct styles, and that's what we get in this one with the ISO ult.
You're quoting ancient texts at this point. You got to blow the dust off the book to get those names.
It looks like the same old style towards this A site, but a standard split.
Kayak and Alpha haven't spotted the players on site. It is a three-man stack up. Make it two. And Neki, you gotta wake up, bud. You've just been turned on. Kayak clearing up. They're leaving just Fabian. Maybe a chance for a flawless of their own, unless he can make this one costly. Boaster just going to play from behind, not even take too much of a risk. In fact, he's just looking to keep himself alive. He's going to make the Cove a little bit more solid. It won't be flawless, but it will be very clean. 7 to 9.
I like that. Yeah, he's just giving the ult orbs over. Like, I don't want that smoke. Fair enough. Good work by Boaster as well, just sitting in that position. They go for the split 2-2 with him left behind in mid. You see it there in the replay on the map. Him catching Echo. There it is, actually. Thank you very much, folks. Catching Echo on the rotate around what could have been danger for them. Because again, on that attack side, it felt like Echo was so good at sensing the space that was being left open. He was slipping into positions to catch them off guard, to isolate duels against players who just were not ready for him to be there, which you'd expect from like a Neon or something like that. But he was doing it here in the Sentinel. Playing Cerebral. This is going to be a more direct play on mid to fight through the orb. What a mistake! Fabian has eaten them alive! In this play, the brakes pumped on it. The B split no longer stands any hope, surely. What a round, man!
We have so many just talented aimers. I was thinking, that's a bold position to take, but hey, fortune favors them. That's what they say. Even still, though, two standing. Crashes in a clutch. But that smoke's going to fade and they're going to line up. All right, they're just going for highlight reels at this point. We're going to have another one by the end of the day. 10 rounds for Eternal Fire, but I do look at that round and go, okay, how repeatable is that? How repeatable is a three-man spray down?
It's almost a four-man spray down with the ISO shield as well. Look at this. He did not see Kayak. That's the nastiest thing I've ever seen. Look at that. You nasty, nasty boy. And then a collat to close it out.
The worst thing is the collat almost feels underwhelming just because of what happened before it, but the collat's pretty cool. You know, it was nice, but it wasn't what Fabian just did.
Well, that's one way to push to double digits. Fnatic, though, still have the credits to fall back on for this round and the next. So there's not going to be an easy path to 12. See if they can do it the hard way. Already Izzy on the corner, and it's Alpha caught without his shield, taken down with the first blood from Izzy. Finds it hard to take down the drone, but you know what? Body shots are all he needs. Onez is cleaning up the first and second wave dealt with.
Suppressing fire. You're not getting my teammate. You're not getting anywhere near him. Oh dear. Wow. It wasn't 3, but it was just as pretty. A quick double tap, and I thought the drone would pick him up, but I don't think it did. I don't know if the drone had already been fired, so it couldn't quite shoot again in time, but I thought Onez was screwed. Back-to-back rounds where players look like they're in positions where there should be no chance of survival.
Out of charges.
Izzy wanted a highlight of his own again, but this time has fallen. Spike going to the other side of the map, but let's not pretend like it is open. Even though there's only one player here, there's a couple of trips, there's a cam in the corner. The cam is well, just like us, is watching Boaster. I think he's even just moved the trips around.
Last player standing.
Yeah.
30 seconds left.
No utility needed for that one. Echo on a tear. What a round from Onez as well, up close. Shutting the door in Fnatic's face just as it felt like they picked up some momentum, and it is the big boy, the Odin, to close out the round. Don't leave it on the floor. The op's not worth it. 11-7, a 4-round gap, an Eternal Fire getting very close to closing this one out convincingly. And you can sit here and say it's their map pick and bind and yada yada. Sure, I've said it all, but the reality is it just doesn't matter. This is not the way this story was supposed to go. And you can see it on the faces of the Fnatic players. They need to make a big those with you, and he's going to be just fine with another shield primed and ready right after the kill. Him being dropped that early on, well, we might just see that shield go up before he rounds the corner in future. And indeed you do. A bit more caution this time. It won't be thrown to the wind. We'll see if Fnatic will still be swept away. Hunter's Fury to clear. Oh, good tag on the first, but no second connection. Audaz still drawing breath. Never mind.
Yeah, Kayak already in. They weren't just sitting pretty. They were moving off of that ultimate.
Last player standing.
You could say what you like about how this has gone for Fnatic so far, but when they've had the ult for the execute, they have been sublime. Hunter's Fury, it worked. Used the kill contract, it worked. And this time, in-zone flawless off the back of it. An immediate reaction after the pause. 3 rounds the difference once again, but we're waiting to see if Eternal Fire have another combo make or break it.
Well, I think that's a big thing. Think about the round before where Izzy is left to freely take an opening fight inside of main, and then Audaz is left to freely take a 1v2 as they come through the wall that they put up. This is not something that most players...
To make sure that we close out this map, because Bind, it could be a completely different story. So we'll have to wait and see if they found the answer, but also credits now on the line for Eternal Fire. This could start a streak for Fnatic.
Oh, Izzy, he was focused up on main, thinking his back was covered as Echo was there to support him, but a nice smoke popped into play by Boaster, blocks that vision, gives an easy opening to Fnatic, a big player removed from the equation. As they move towards this A site, though, still plenty of players close by. Eternal Fire were thinking about re-clearing mid, but although one does, Fabian stays close by, looking for the fight. But doesn't step through the wall on the flash.
It's you and
me. To deny, but he'll be caught now by the ultimate. In a battle with Alfier, not a place many people want to be, but he wins it! He will be dropped as soon as he comes out, surely no! In fact, his teammates create the space! Fabian wins that fight and pops the ult ready. Now, the fight further towards the back site. Flash popped as Vekaj can't back off. There's no safe ground for him to go to. And the info falling into the hands of the remaining. Fabian showed us an insane spray down inside of middle not that long ago. But a big task now, a 1 versus 2. And it's Crashies and Vekaj to close this one out. Fnatic close the distance, a gap of 2. They're hot on Eternal Fire's heels.
Yeah, they needed that. Really good positioning and utility from Crashies as well. Like that, there was a moment where it looked like a gap was being created and his dart just going up top denies anything of the sort. Another solid round from Vekaj as well. We were hyping up last split, him individually, but also just what he was able to do on the Viper. He was very, very good playing this agent. I think the last time out they tested him on the Jet on this map, but it's no surprise to see the swap between him and Alfier.
Well, Fnatic were not here. They didn't show up. In the first 7 rounds, it felt like nothing but Eternal Fire finding success. A blip on the radar was all there was to report. But now, oh my goodness! Now you start to think that Fnatic, of course, corrected. They found their way back in the game, and oh, a flurry of frags for Eternal Fire, a return from Fnatic to put this into a 3v3. It is a chaotic round. Izzy completely caught off guard in mid. But the problem is that Viper's Pit, the numbers even, the weaponry favored to Fnatic, but if the pick goes down, this is going to be a really difficult round.
I think the expectation was after those 2 kills came in on B that there would be some space to be taken. Instead, it was a quick reaction from Fnatic to go back the other way. 2 players within the pit. Fragment trying to force them out the back of it. Kayak, he's still sat behind. Weren't expecting him to be here, and it puts a spanner in the works. They had a chance to maybe surround their opponents. Fabian trying his best, but again, a back-to-back round with a Vekaj triple takes Fnatic to within 1.
Yeah, back-to-back triple kills from Vekaj, like you said. This guy's really stepped up to the plate. And a very important one as well. A chance for Eternal Fire to put themselves onto 12 with 2 openings.
Break the shield so that the headshot killed him on Alpha.
Might have.
That's so rough. Okay, I think he's doing all right.
He really doesn't seem too upset. 11-10. Fnatic finding their way back on the attack side now. Another direct play being teed up. They're going to blitz straight in towards this A site. You can see Eternal Fire. They've got numbers, but they're not looking to fight. They want them to come in. Look where that trip was. Never mind. And there's going to be no chance for it as Echo gets dropped at least in a trade. And the AWP now making itself known. They've got to be careful of it as Crashies just swings out and domes Neki. Maybe they're not going to be so cautious. Man advantage now for Fnatic, and they can take this where they want.
Yeah. I think Izzy's firing shots into his own cosmic divide.
He is, yeah.
I don't think you're going to get anyone there, but I appreciate the effort. He's so locked in. He doesn't realize that he's safe for now. But yeah, that safety that they created, what? Again, if this was old Fnatic and there was 20 seconds left on the clock when they started that push, that would have been great. Instead, they've now gone, oh, well, we can kind of just go wherever we want now. We can sit here and wait. We can rotate off. We don't have to push into the three-man stack. We don't have to even risk crossing back over the wall that was there because you've put something down to protect us. And the B site is very, very open.
Yeah, it had to be a gamble either way from the attackers, waiting for the re-aggression on that A site. It doesn't come in, so they decide that it's likely Eternal Fire of stacked A at this point. Move it to the other side, and a free plant will be acquired.
Should be a save, right?
At this point, yeah. They'll be 11-11 if they lose, and if all their credits are thrown at this round, that could be a map that started out so dominant for this young squad, all of a sudden taken out of their hands. They will wait for one more round, one more fight, but the winds have certainly changed direction, filling the sails of Fnatic and pushing them towards this map victory that would bind up next would be a terrifying prospect for what looked like a confident Eternal Fire.
Yeah, it's kind of rough because I think in most circumstances, if you're like a young team, you come up against Fnatic and you go, hey, yeah, maybe we lose 13-11. You go, oh, that's not too bad. It's a bit annoying, but the fashion in which they lost it in would be worse. Like 9-3 up at the half, getting yourself some early rounds, like getting the momentum back relatively quick. And then, yeah, you have a couple of closer clutch rounds that don't go your way. Things start to slip. And Fnatic are just getting better and better as they go. Like we've started to see Vekaj really step up to the plate. Kayak has moved up that board as well. And got the smoke angles they're able to create using that harbor. And it looks like, even with a bit of a mixed buy, there's again going to be some attempt for aggression. Patiently waiting with that operator on Alpha here. But with the judge in hand, I can't imagine Orders is going to go that much further.
No, you just get him embedded on that corner. A star down so he can get himself out if pressure's put onto him. Pop that smoke up. From here, I'd almost like to see soon Fabian stepping away. He wants to be the bait to draw them in. And in fact, they are coming back towards this. There could still be a chance for the Patience to pay off. Passive setup on the B site. Trip covering the way through, but there's the problem. I mean, Fabian's here. He should be breaking that. That's the plan ruined. Onas shouldn't get anything from that corner now. It might even be spammed out. Indeed, that's what they're trying. It's a battle of wall bangs in towards A main. And the op on Izzy. He's about to get an opportunity. Kayak coming back into a space he cleared not long ago, but now ready and waiting was Izzy, but the shot doesn't land. And
they know there's 3A.
Yeah, exactly. Off this, the info's there. The B site's the clear target.
Oh, this time, though, he does land the shot. Man advantage found. Gives him a little bit of space to cross back in, have some extra presence on this side of the map. Echo trying to reclaim the space he gave up earlier as he knows that execution is coming in, and he's got a lot of space. Managed to find a gap around the edge of their utility, and they're not ready for it. Perfect movement from Echo. And a man who started this map so strong, went a little quiet in the middle, looks to end the same way he started. Crashes, 4 seconds, no chance of victory. Maybe hoping that someone walks back into his crosshair, but that will not be the case. Not anymore. Izzy's seen him. And while keeping 5 alive, it gives that opportunity now, Mitch, to close out the map that maybe they should have done a while ago.
24-14, and it's not just the success he's had every round, but how he gets there. Look how smart he is, moving around. He started this on the backside. That should have been a free plant. I don't even blame Boaster for going in for it, but one cage popped up, and that's where you have to start suspecting that this guy is slipping his way into your back lines, because when his utility goes up, it feels like he's behind it, he's around it, he's finding those blind spots. At least in overtime, guaranteed now for Eternal Fire as Fnatic come in, just the rifles, no op to play with, and Izzy going to be a danger in the back of their mind. So get that drone through. Fabian needs to get out, but they have left Audaz.
But it's not going to be a surprise. You can't do the same thing 2 rounds in a row, and expect it to be a surprise. This is the most awkward fight ever. There we go. Eventually, a lot of assists. It will be the kills going the way of Fnatic. Kayak in position. A man trying to lurk behind them, but he's been caught as well. Oh no, it is OT. It's not going to be the nicest way to get there, but we are going there.
Yeah, just great use of Boaster's ult, and I think these more direct plays for Fnatic, be it with Alpha, be it with Boaster, or be it off the Hunter's Fury from Crashies, those ultis have been used to great effect to break through, smash through the defensive line. Great work from Fnatic, unless they manage to fall to Izzy and up in a 1v5, not the favored weapon. Definitely not a favorable scenario. Overtime confirmed. And back to the defensive side for Fnatic. We're so... Oh, we didn't need to see this one again.
But this is the thing. It's like when you... I sort of mentioned it. You go in with a set play. The set play gets seen. You can't do the set play again the next round. And the second Fnatic realize that they send the Reckoning through because it's a giant wave that goes through the point the guy further back is and you at the front. Yeah. Like, you are left without a hope in hell.
Fabian was still hit by it by the time they dealt with Audaz. They got out on side, and Fabian still couldn't see a damn thing.
Like, it has felt, the Reckoning has felt like a very situational ult.
Yeah.
That was the perfect situation. Like, you gave them the greatest situation for that ult.
Yep. And again, telegraphed it as well with the previous round. There we go. Boaster, obviously been watching some Rose VODs, coming in with the Odin for main. Not finding success with it early on. Posted up and waiting. Now this is where all the trouble was for this squad. Be it Echo coming through mid, late. But this time it's a completely different look. They pressure A the same as they had in the past. Get some utility out of the defensive side, and then they send Echo, a man who's been so successful in finding the gaps. Well, he is looking for it around B or mid. He's going to go through. And this is a big danger. That guy's just been bailing them out of a lot of bad situations, but he misses the timing. And now Echo can slip his way into this spot. It's being watched, but a game of patience. Echo usually wins those.
I like that Kayak's playing such an off angle though, because Echo is incredibly good at sort of pre-firing these positions, and there you go. Like, he's not quite ready to react to such an awkward position. Bose has been buying time, but now they're going to go straight through, and you can spam as you like. If the bullet hits your head, it doesn't matter. Wall gets them out, gets them past Izzy. That operator null and void, at least for now, and the rest of the team just barreling down. Pop flash out, they swing, and Alpha comes out with 2. He's done well to keep the advantage in Fnatic's favor. Even still, though, Neki just around the corner, the cross being held, and Kayak a little bit further ahead of everybody else. They know at least where one of the opponents is, but Izzy can almost just wait. He could just almost bait for his teammate, but now his teammate's gone. They have to have an idea where he will stand, and the double swing needed. Just Vekaj once again, an immediate headshot, and Fnatic now, for the first time, have got themselves the lead.
You could see how patient Vekaj was there as well. He was so close, a step away from death, but the patience paid off. The shock dart to clear out the back, and it all starts with dropping Echo like that.
Gross.
The danger of Alpha with that shield online. You got to kill him twice, and he does just the same to you. 2 under his belt before he falls.
He got hit.
Hey!
Yeah, he just said hey. He just said hey.
Nothing else there.
And then after that, he said, "What you up to? I'm good. You."
Oh yeah, yeah. 13-12, the first time we see Fnatic in the lead. It very much does feel like the winds have changed in their favor for Fnatic. This is their successful half, and it's the same bloody setup.
They won't
I'm
think
not
we'll
sure
do
I
it
like this.
time.
Here.
But the push up through B main, hold on. They've got 2 players wrapping up. Echo's being heard, but the op doesn't hit the shot either. Oh no, it's falling apart for Eternal Fire. Izzy gets 1, but immediately dropped by Boaster, and the B site, it's wide open. They know that. They've already cleared it out with Kayak. They know who likes to play around there, and the spike on its way. Fabian has no clue that Kayak will be there so early. How have Fnatic recovered this? A 9-3 half, barely anyone hitting shots. And now look at them, mostly thriving. A 2 versus 3 that still favors that attack, and Neki alone for a little while. Fnatic just running that clock down, patiently waiting.
Is there a gap? Is there a gap? No, not anymore. Boaster spots him, spam through, won't get anything, and now it's left all onto Ordaz. It was a slow start from Fnatic, but that attack side looks sublime. They will be managing to like to be. I'm curious though, again, on the Eternal Fire side. Obviously, the comp we saw them play fairly recently in Clash was very, very similar to this one, other than the obvious changes. Sky out, or Sky in, sorry, for the Fade, and then Neon in for the Yoru. Still that early aggression. Already taking space outside A, it gives them quite a good idea.
That stun makes it so uncomfortable for Fabian, you would expect, but he manages one before Alpha, having dove into the back lines of B, cleans up the defenders, and leaves Fnatic with what should be an easy plant. And this is more the meta I was expecting to see in most of our games. The Neon, the Waylay, and the Sky, so powerful. Look at that from Alpha, playing deep, taking a pick, and getting right out of there. You thought it was scary when you had to hit him twice, but when he can hit you and disappear, I think it's almost worse.
Oh, getting back in is not going to be easy. Alpha's ace will not come through. But that time has been ticking for quite a while, and the post plant of this Fnatic side has always been something to fear. Their bind was ratty for generations. And I think any team with Boaster, that will always be the case. Ordaz, the time has already gone, and Boaster is there on the close. A pistol for Fnatic, no chance at a 6-0 deficit like the last map. And as we've already mentioned, this is the map where we now expect things to go their way.
Yeah, I mean, if you're tuning in just now, with last map, we hit overtime. And after the first round of overtime, that was the first time Fnatic were ahead in the entire map.
Who is the victim of dying for sun? Me. Perfect.
He's giving himself a TED talk.
It's also good to see the Fnatic can still do Fnatic things. The comebacks, they were looking dejected. The faces were void of any form of happiness. And now, as we saw towards the end of Breeze, they started to have fun. They started to loosen up a bit as the rounds came their way. Bit of a shaky start there. Bit of a shaky follow through as well. Good stuff from Eternal Fire, just with classics, and a bit of aggression to find the orb to start with, and then a double. Trading out won't be easy, though. To keep that ball rolling will require a lot of luck. Maybe the position of Izzy, if he tucks in, could have gotten something. But, yeah, they know he's there now. And, well, I'd imagine that means Crashies doesn't go and clear those angles by himself, but he's happy to trailblaze. Well, Izzy's wrapped all the way around. He's now behind them. Did they hear it, though? Because they're watching it. There's a chance that Crashies was close enough to hear the sprint through Bath.
Ordaz under pressure.
Be right back.
Izzy quickly in behind, but...
Watching.
Oh, yeah, but the planter is completely open. Luckily, Boaster, well, better weaponry, more health, and a classic that was unkind. Even the secondary player coming around for that angle, not going to find anything. And what started as a little bit dangerous quickly turns to very little. Fnatic 2-0, Rifles kept through into the next round, and this is now where we look to Eternal Fire and see if they can get themselves onto the board.
Yeah, a very different start for the favorites of Fnatic moving into this, and don't expect it to be all too easy on this map, even though they chose it. 14-12 on the previous. Echo having one of the strongest debuts, especially in that first half. He was untouchable.
Was he 16-3?
Yeah, he would definitely. I don't know if he closed on 16-3, but he was there. I remember seeing that stat line. Fnatic, it's not a weak round by any stretch of the imagination. 4 rifles to play with, and it looks like they're gearing up for this B hit. We talked about them bouncing back mentally. Let's listen in.
Peek and long. Wait, I can't.
This, gotta go.
Push me back. You can go back maybe if you want. Yeah, probably rotate the front.
Yeah.
I'm going to fight with you.
I've left. I'm baiting left. I think he's trying to look for a kill. He might walk into hookah.
And long shot.
Nice. Just wait.
They know about
late.
They know about
They didn't wall
us.
up. I think I would just walk out.
Dealing with the chaos. They expected it only to be Waylay on that side. Echo backing him up with the wall still to play with, but that was accounted for. You heard Boaster say it there. They know the toxins are ripe and ready to roll, but a reposition Echo wraps around towards the elbow. Look how far away Audaz is as well. We talked about this man's debut, and it's time to step up to the plate once again. They've made it past the wall already. Holding his ground should be a tough task. He finds the first, no trade. They're slow to react to flash. Good, but Echo's even better. A double, and now the advantage for the defense. Crashies with it all to do.
Plant in, gives him a chance, immediate fight coming, but Echo is just too quick with it. That first map might have not gone the way of his squad, but he definitely made a statement in that map. An important round. Of course, this was the bonus. This was a piece or two missing from Fnatic, but one that, well, it started magnificently from Izzy, but it looked like it was going to go Fnatic's way. It was only Echo on this side of the map that managed to throw a spanner in the works.
I love it. The energy from this guy showing up yet again when Eternal Fire need him in those early rounds. A big 3K there. I think was a bit ahead of the party on that swing around, and he's had a tough showing in these first couple of rounds. Indeed, in the first half of the previous map as well. Took him a long time to get going. I think he was 1-7 or 1-6, him and Alpha sharing those stat lines. This time much more direct from Fnatic. That promised aggression, but Alpha has to cancel. Kayak doesn't have that luxury. He'll be caught in the open, dealt with by Fabian. Audaz here to help.
Spike.
And its body's on the floor for Fnatic, but it's theirs, not their opponent's. Alpha being cut off here. The double TP taken by Eternal Fire. It could be a mistake. In many moments it would be. But Echo and Izzy, they combine for the advantage. 3 versus 1.
That's 3.
Crashy's at least punishing a next player, but 1v2, Spike down. This is far from an easy round. No flashes left as well. He's going to have to run that clock down to get them back. 25 seconds. Has Seekers, but is this the moment to use them? With an orbital strike online as well on the other side?
In a 1v2. I wouldn't mind it.
We'll give his position
If anybody else, maybe not, but with Crashies in a clutch, they can find out that in for the flash, though. Came online early enough. Now looks to make a move, looks to try and find where these players are hiding, but they're going to swing him together. Wonderful fundamentals from the remaining Eternal Fire players. And again, we see that early aggression putting a stop to what Fnatic had planned.
Yeah, it was a tough round for Crashies. I think he did the right thing by not popping the ult out and see it getting him much value, considering how they played it together, waiting. No smokes left, so there were none for him to flash out of either. And I liked his idea, wait for my flash to come back online, but unfortunately they had the same idea on the other side. Neki pops his, info's there, the round's already done. From there, it's just a domino effect. The double TP was a bit risky, I have to say. With the advantage they had, that had me worried, but they made a meal out of it.
That's their style of play. I think a passive Eternal Fire. I think if that's what you're hoping for, you're watching the wrong team. And even though they're up against an eco, that doesn't seem to be changing. It is early aggression from Fabian. Of course, they've got the smoke down, but even still, even once his ability to recall fades, he's like, I'm still going in the smoke. Like, come on. I'm still going to push it. They want to look to hold on to a lot of ground in this part of the map. Of course, the double duelist for this team didn't necessarily feel as natural as some others. Like we knew, especially when it was Sop, that he was always going to be the man to watch. They tried Chamber on Echo at a point. But Fabian, even when they had players missing, it seemed to play that role incredibly well.
Seemed for a while like the old order would be restored. Fnatic claiming this map. A decent start with the pistols. Good stun as well. Orbital strike put through. Pressure on for Kayak as he tries to get out. Neki's there waiting. Trades. Not what you want in a round like this where Fnatic has so little to work with and they keep it competitive. A 2v2, rifles to be retrieved, and a plan potentially to be found. Fabian could catch them going for the TP. And in fact, he's going to catch Alpha, but well, the TP's not going anywhere, is it? A recall right back into the open. The pressure on for Vikaj, not close to his ult either.
You see Alpha's reaction. The second he clicked the button, it was a reaction click, and he goes, yeah, I'm dead. Yep, that's me done. Vikaj 1v2. Looking for it all, but again, perfect synergy of those players peeking together. Fabian with a multi-frag that it kind of feels like it shouldn't have been necessary. And well, the problem is, like, I think the player who's gone to go and collect whatever gun they wanted doesn't have his ult, and the one who was about to defuse does. So they're now just holding it a little bit. They'll take their time to go retrieve, I'm guessing, an operator.
Yeah. Should be the off from that spot there where we saw it dropped. And nice work by Neki. And again, Neki and Fabian having to dig deep like that isn't really what you want to see in the alpha space.
That was really good gun. One CT, one.
Yeah, because he hadn't got the weapon. His teammate did, but reality is that whole round seemed to be massively favored to Eternal Fire.
Yep.
Fnatic came in with pistols. They made good use of a bit of aggression, the dive in from Alpha alongside the stun, and it got an orbital strike out of the other side as well. So altogether, ult economy and credit economy damaged pretty heavily. That's a success for Fnatic. Now they have to build on those foundations.
Don't get in my way.
Early Viper's Pit is already going to completely change the dynamic of this round. There is plenty to play with. Those Seekers still online from a while ago. And Izzy already aggressed past the smoke. How much further out does he go? A little bit wary that the potential of somebody to swing as he goes to peek. It seems like Vekaj is very much aware that somebody could be this close. Even pinging the angle, maybe seeing the scope. It seems like he's so locked in on this position that he is convinced there's somebody here. Flash is coming. There should be no way out for Izzy. The stun, and actually he gets away.
It's the stun, man. It just gives him a huge margin for error there. The wall not great, but he'll make it around. Seekers hunting them down. Fnatic not giving up on this. This is the direct play yet again from this squad. Using that double duelist, using the sky. Neki's out in the middle of nowhere, though. Caught in no man's land. In goes the old Fabian diving with it, but Alpha and Vekaj able to pick up all the kills and leave this site in the hands of Fnatic. One man lost. With Echo on the other side, all alone, 1v4. I think it is a bit better to save this weapon. Just glance at the credits and you can see that there's going to be a lot of players with their hands out. In particular, Neki. He's struggling for the cash, and Echo would be in the same boat. Saving is of the utmost importance. But for Fnatic, a successful round previously in terms of the damage done and the chances they gave themselves, even with that low buy, burned up a big ultimate from the defensive side, and now they come in here. Oh, indeed, yeah. And then now they come in here with Viper's Pit out of this round, available for the next, and a chance to completely shatter the Eternal Fire economy.
In fact, it was even 3, because it was the Neon ult. They used the Convergence Path and Viper's Pit.
Yeah, in this one, yeah. I was speaking about the previous with the Orbital Strike, so that's 4 ults in 2 rounds.
It is
burned up out of them for no success.
A lot of ultimates gone. And at this one, it felt very panicky. Like, obviously for Izzy, this whole round was pretty much spent running backwards, like just util ults. Like they even put an orbital strike on top of him here, just as he thought he might finally be done. And then his teammates trying to react to almost help.
Neon was in that spot. Yeah, he was just gone.
There you go. He managed to escape. Unfortunately, it didn't really change the round. And I think the fact that Vekaj does well, takes space, very aggressive. And while you can see the spams are already there, the aggression was tailored. Fnatic are adapting to the plays that Eternal Fire are trying to make, and they're adapting fast.
Yeah, look at that momentum shift. Even the attempt to dive in with the Waylay, which should normally be in and out quick as you like. Not even having to prime that stun, just drop it on the floor and quickly recall. Yeah, they don't even get a chance to prime the stun. Then immediate shutdown. Again, singing the praises of Vekaj is just too easy. The guy is sensational, especially. I want to see him be a Viper main, lock in nothing but it. Especially in this and the previous meta.
Enemy down.
Feels like it has a home on almost every map for Echo. And you found yourself one kill, 1 orb. But Fnatic certainly won't be crying over the credits lost. They are willing to throw themselves at this to ensure that Eternal Fire have as little as possible available for the next round. They're already in the spawn. Boxed in is Odd as he has to fight his way out, and the first one goes his way. That's all she wrote. 4-3, and Fnatic looking dominant now.
Yeah, they're looking very comfortable with what is being thrown at them. Like we saw it the last round with Izzy's position being very clearly telegraphed and forcing him back consistently with utility. And then in this one, the attempted double dive into mid. They are spamming into that utility. And there you go. Like, the reads on what their opponents are going to be doing starting to become a little bit too telegraphed.
Reads early on, yes, it's the moment for a timeout, but it might not be the moment for course correction because you don't have a lot to work with in this round. Weaknesses. And a judge in play in the hands of Echo. Expect that to be in Izzy's hand, but maybe it's for good reason. Nice shots to start, and Boaster the one that's dealt with.
Judge up close, an old faithful. And after that early aggression, it's an immediate rotation back in the other direction, trying to put the stack onto the A site, maybe expecting their opponents to react off the info they have. Tiger being sent out into the showers. Like, this is a desperate attempt to just find out anything they can, but in the meantime, Fnatic have just stopped. They've paused. They've sent Crashies to maybe even try and commit the ruse. Instead, though, the Seeker's being expended. This should give it a decent idea as to where they're currently waiting. And with Echo in position with a charge, that's not the gun you want to rush into.
And that's why he has it. No intention to move from that spot. Now with a rifle in hand. He's a thorn in the side, in the back perhaps of Fnatic, who've only got the cash left. That could be enough if Echo wasn't blitzing out to take him down. And Eternal Fire, after the timeout, a very nice low-buy round. You know, their previous aggression might have been readable for Fnatic. They certainly seem to think it was. But this one, they hadn't got a Scooby-Doo what was going on. Very well handled by Eternal Fire. And you know the best part is that the Skydog sent down on A actually spots Izzy. And you realize if Izzy's here, and he was there at the start, you know, this site could be a little lighter, and that sells the routes for them to run right into Echo.
Good work in the low bite. A huge victory as well. Who said that they've done well to deal with Izzy a lot so far. But this time he will be able to land the shot. A lot of space taken. A very committed push, and Izzy being given those isolated fights, this time not being run down, this time not crumbling to the utility. With a two-man advantage. Fnatic don't even really have a safe space to plant. Izzy's just still going, giving him the freedom to fight. Well, only one man standing. Neki will immediately close out this round. Lead taken back by Eternal Fire, and I don't know what was said in the pause. It definitely wasn't anything about slowing down, but it worked.
Yeah, this is now starting to look much better for that defensive side, and Izzy with freedom. Oh, we need to see more of this. The problem is Fnatic will start to play that more direct play, start to dump utility to push him off angles. You shouldn't be looking that upset. That was a great round.
One of you died, not good enough.
I want flawless. But Izzy, great round from him, confidence builder, and now something for Fnatic to be scared of, as that AWP has shown itself to be a terrifying foe to face off against.
Oh yeah, it seems like he's willing to take any angle, even using the corner of the smoke. With what's in play, this feels risky, but there's a second layer. Do they expect order? They do. They expect him in the corner, but it doesn't seem to matter. He reacts quick enough, not quite the second time. Even still, Izzy is there to deal with. Back for more, dodges an operator. He's dancing with death, but surviving alongside it. Finally, Kayak will grant him the release it seemed like he was hunting for, but now there's another that needs to be found. Boaster, a 1 versus 3. He's turned it to 2, needs an instant headshot, and he's not gonna get it.
I love that movement from Izzy. The fact that he just goes, I wonder if there's one back. Zips in, zips out. Yep, there is. Can't even get the op shot off. Autos was so well there, but Izzy stealing the show with these shots. You'd think you've got him cornered, boxed in under pressure, but pressure makes diamonds. And he is shining bright in these last few rounds with the op in his hand. 6-4, Eternal Fire fighting for another favored first half. And the attack side, thinking back to the previous, that's where they've been able to hone their skills even better than what we've seen when their opponents are pushing into them. Oh my goodness!
These contact plays again and again. When you finally get the first, you go looking, you go trying to hunt them down. Izzy's popped his ult behind them. They already have a huge advantage. He doesn't give a damn.
Disgusting.
This is reminding me of those Supermassive Blaze days. The run and gun, the out-aiming of opponents. The pause almost feels like it was bait. Like, yeah, mate, we're going to change up our game. No, we're not. We're doing this. We're running at you. We're putting pressure on you. We're fighting you in every corner. We're in positions you're never going to expect. I'm on for Alpha yet. And Vekaj. A mountain to climb, but at least they found a little bit of footing.
Toxin screen down.
45 seconds, spike down, an op that you know is waiting around that corner now in the hands of Izzy. As terrifying as can be, and look at the timing. The game sense from these guys battling through that Ascension system and here off Merit. You can see it's not misplaced with Fnatic almost locked in now for a loss at the half. The question is, will this rifle be carried through? I think Crashies is hoping that it is, so he can have at least something to play with, but it doesn't look like Eternal Fire are giving any quarter. No mercy shown as 7-4 on the board. Fnatic, they really got a streak of rounds going. They got some momentum, but that has been shut down completely in the last few.
Oh, blink and you miss it.
I didn't see it live and I had X-ray.
7-4. And you mentioned the sort of earning of spot, but the funny thing for me is that the guy 10 and 9, the guy standing, the guy performing, Izzy, kind of wasn't meant to be here.
Yeah,
like, he's the one that's joined with Eternal Fire, was already on the roster in the tier 2. Of course, Sop has found another home. And while no surprise, 10 seconds into the round, we already have multiple deaths. Even another hand on that operator, but they're going back in the other direction. Fnatic trying to bait some of those early rotations. There's still a judge. There is a judge, while players on the other side have 7,000 credits. Echo has... Well, he's heard that people like the Neon Judge. He likes the Viper Judge.
Has he? Yeah, I was going to say, has he got a backup weapon? Oh my goodness! Boaster's just being... Echo is jumping in. He didn't even expect someone to be there, I think. Oh man, and into the pit he goes. Echo falls, but the cascade afterwards with players is going to easily deal with Vekaj. Crashies, he's caught. Well, both Brimstones caught unaware, and now some info to play with. The Cabbage is on their way, finding both players, and Crashies knows that he has one player isolated, but no longer. They've crossed back. They've combined forces. The fusion dance on the side, the high-low, separated for a moment, but not long enough. A triple from Fabian, 8 rounds from Eternal Fire, and the bounce back is very much underway.
What a pause. A pause taken. They went 5 rounds in a row. I don't know what Afro 5 said, but whatever it was impressive. Nonetheless, they had a good first half in the last map. Let's see if they've got the stones to close this one out after the break.
Wingman World while
Fantastic duelist. I think we saw some of the best of Izzy in the last with that Neon on the defense, but they're definitely going to need him again on the attack side. That space taken alongside Fabian, who both of them have been fantastic, needs to be the same here. And a pistol, well, it'd be a warm welcome.
And it would be. Attack side's been so solid for Eternal Fire. Different comp, they're up against now, and Alpha with a second lease of life gets himself a triple Eternal Fire. Well, it seems like that flame is being snuffed out, at least in round number 1. Unless Neki and Echo, which, look, certainly not the players to question. He's managed to make it to the backside as well. Well, that's all he'll get. Neki.
Sorry.
I got the spot.
Has he not dead? He was reloading for half of that fight. This has now become a 1 versus 2 scenario.
Does he hear him? Oh, he's shift walk. Just outside of range?
Doesn't look like he's hearing it.
Just outside of range.
Because of that, the B site is going to be for free. They think they've got him locked in. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm in the spawn. You're sat watching. Hearing anything? He must still just be lurking around showers, just waiting. What we'll do is when he plants, we'll go and surround him. And while I think
left.
Poster might have heard something, because now he starts hightailing it to the other side of the map. Early flash. Don't know if that caught.
Does he hear him this time? No. Neki's playing so far away, but there it is. There it is. The steps heard just as the shift keys pressed. That will be his death sentence. Really good job, though, to find all three in Bath. I'll be honest, the second I saw Echo die, I thought this round is done.
Yeah.
No question about it. But Neki really managed to breathe some life back into that. 8-5. A pistol round for Fnatic and a much-needed leg up as they climb back into this map.
Correct me if I'm wrong, that is basically both pistols won by Alpha. Yeah. I think it was in the first half as well. He just went diving in and killed everyone. It seems like he's been very good elsewhere, but getting both pistols for your squad and you're only having 5 rounds is definitely not an ideal scenario, but it at least has given them an opportunity to climb back. And we've already seen it in the last map, like a 9-3, well, curse, but it almost seemed like it was curse for Eternal Fire in the end. Now they have gone for a fairly hefty investment. Izzy out with the sniper in hand. We look on the other side, and there are a few light shields in play. One of them is Alpha, yeah, but more importantly, even if he hits anybody, a chance for these pistols to catch him. This should be easy for Kayak, though, right? Okay, never mind.
Yeah, now they know it's there.
I don't like that way.
Are they're thinking of challenging it. I mean, you've got your 2 dive duelists in here. If anyone's going to get past that judge.
Do you think it's because Fabian went, well, I did hit him, so maybe you can kill him now? He's not hit for enough.
He's so heavily tagged. I mean, the space taken, the old Nats walk up by Echo, using the wall to get into this corner. It's something that you bet your ass Fnatic are very used to facing, but it looks like they'll give an opportunity. Classic up close, right click, dangerous, and he got 2 of them off. 1 missed, and that's why Venkaj is still alive. Otherwise, that could have been an opening pick, and off that damage, looks like they're looking to at least put pressure here. Oh, what a shot. They have a chance to take TP, but losing Fabian means commitment to the A site. A pick already under their belt. A wrap around from Neki is ambitious. They will at least get a plant out of this.
Yeah, it's the extra credits. That's kind of what makes this worth it. It's that along with what damage Izzy can do. Ordaz is kind of almost just watching, trying to make space, trying to play off angles, try and be weird, basically, and allow Izzy to hopefully do the rest. Smoke's creating awkward angles. There already is Kayak, and the shot not connecting now. Maybe even just holding onto the gun could be worth it, but he's stuck reloading. He's being chased down. Kayak can almost trying to bait in that maybe he's going to try and push him just later on. It will be the hold on to the sniper, and actually that's really not bad at all.
Yep, all in all, positive round. Good takeaways for Eternal Fire, but this is where they have to find those solutions. We've seen them try to play the snake in the grass. Again, it is Izzy to find those openings for the squad. They know he's coming in on an outlaw. I say I don't expect many light shields. Well, we're in game and see 3 still carry through. The judge makes sense. Not really a favorable fight for an outlaw in any judge positions, but danger for Venkaj and Boaster. Oh, and Crashies. It's 4 light shields, in fact.
This is being played as a bonus. There's no doubt about that. Most of it a decent start. Gives space to Crashies, but it is just the trades. Quick rotation looking to come through from Kayak. He needs to get close, and he does. An execution. Venkaj does the same. And Echo's too far. They could just bait this defusal. He knows eventually he's going to have to run, and Kayak's just holding the angle. That's an easy kill for him. A very fast round, and one that Fnatic will take all day long. 3 in a row on what looked like, again, a mountain to climb. Is now not much more than a molehill.
Yeah, very good job to climb back into this one. Kayak, I don't know how he gets away with that. And now knowing that Hook is clear, that guy can just sprint at that planter, taking him down. Risks, but measured ones. And you can see the frustration on the other side of the stage. A timeout called by Eternal Fire. This, their second timeout of the map.
That's more of my worry. Like, there's only so much you can do with the Seekers.
Breathe deep.
Well, the time for deep breaths indeed. Eternal Fire need to be focused. Credits committed in medium amounts. Buy in the next possible, but a lot to deal with here. They got past the judge! And Kayak proves to be their executioner! He's not done yet either, dishing out death until Fabian puts a stop to it. A little more needed and nothing else found. 8-8 in a blink and you miss it. What in the world is that?
He's expressing himself.
More power to him.
Are we going to get to see his emote at the end?
Come on, come to Papa, come to Papa.
See,
his
I'm
mic.
going to be honest, of all the things I expected him to say, that wasn't it.
You weren't expecting, that wasn't.
No, or come to Papa while doing that.
Well, that one's going to be immortalized. 8-8.
A slow-mo gif's already been made.
Fnatic certainly feeling it for now. The streak of rounds maybe coming to an end as Eternal Fire take a commanding fight towards the back of the site. Fnatic stalling out in that defense, and Crashy's on the wraparounds being completely caught off guard.
Spike planted.
What? How's he gotten that one? Well, that's the only pick that they
Did
have.
the range get upgraded and I didn't notice? Okay.
This is
Careful,
getting a bit
lads.
risky.
Careful.
Getting a bit shaky.
This round should be guaranteed. But a healthy
Reloading.
Kayak and a confident one. And they've got the credits that he can go for this, or he can go for the exits. And I think that might be where he's heading. Looking to try and cut them off as they look to leave the site. Maybe expecting that a certain position would be free. He's going to be in a great position, but maybe just a little bit too late. That will be the lead reclaimed by Eternal Fire. Once again, Fnatic getting back into it, seeming a little bit more difficult than expected, but that fast pace taken again, like that's it. I think Fabian on these sort of entry rolls, just superb.
Yeah, in and out. And like it's Kayak's head, he's shaking it all about. Looking good for Eternal Fire. 9 rounds on the board. You'd be fuming if you're Echo there, but at least it didn't get too much more costly.
Back at it.
Looking for double digits. Ult online for Fabian. Not seeing a direct play being set up here. It's going to be pressure put on towards B Long. An attempt to perhaps deny that orb. The Alfier so close to his, but he's hunting it down towards the bathroom. And the AWP trained in on this position. That's a big problem if Echo gets curious.
There.
Maybe expected.
I'm out of here.
They threw a snake bite down there as well, so it's clearly something they've had an idea about, these aggressive positions being taken, and instead, Alfia is going to man his post in heaven instead. Nonetheless, still plenty of time for either side. Info sent down B, but look at the rotation already from the defenders. 4 players going to be in this side of the map. Alfia looking for a timing, and he's found it, and that's a spike down.
Spike down A.
Huge drop, and they flood in right afterwards. The ult not landing. Alpha side steps and takes the kill. Kayak and himself fighting for the triple with an in-zone flawless. We're back to neck and neck. Fnatic not going to let Eternal Fire run away with this. And the big thing is, that round was a big investment from the attackers.
A hard reset.
They get nothing out of it and nothing left in the bank. This should be the lead for FNC.
Yeah, the expectation is that, but also again, I think Crash is the unsung hero of this round. That Tiger timing, clearing out all of B, or just before they go for the rotation, you see 2 players get into spot just as the play comes through because of the info he found.
Walk out. Blinded.
Posturing towards that A site. A shot landed by Alpha.
Oh my.
Kayak on a double, and well, this one has fallen apart at the seams, but of all the rounds, I suppose it's good that it's this one. Eternal Fire. Just a few pieces in this puzzle. It's only Audaz left, Guardian in hand. Neki does have himself a Sheriff, so it's not like he's completely out of the round.
Smoke's down.
But it should be very hard to find any value from this point. No need for Fnatic to overextend. Double the manpower, more than double when it comes to the weaponry in play. Flash online in 10. He's going early though. He's walked through the smoke, and well, that's an easy punish for Boaster.
God, there's no way out of this. Oh, that's hoping that maybe he can catch someone with a fake plant, but there we go. Fnatic are going to claim the lead, get to double digits, and again, after a massive deficit, an 8-4 in the first half after a 5-round streak, they have brought things back once again. And honestly, a lot of it has been down to the resurgence of Kayak. Like, I feel like in the last 4 or 5 rounds, he's just been insane. Like the Judge multi-kill, retake in the last round, aggressive positioning in this one. This is the guy that, well, this is the guy that people pay to see.
I would love to hear from him why he thinks it was such a slow start in both maps now.
Warming up.
He's really found, but genuinely, it looks like it. Like he's finding it hard to land on his feet in those first couple of rounds.
They
and
didn't come to Papa in the early rounds.
I see.
Now they are.
Now they are coming to Papa.
They are now coming to Papa.
Understood. Okay.
If you didn't watch a couple of rounds ago, we sound very weird.
Well, you led that one, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Well, this is the big challenge. This is where Eternal Fire could be left in the dust, up against the kings of old, sat in their castle, and from what we've seen in both maps, ladders have been on the wall. But Fnatic, they wait till the final moment, and they kick those on down. To start at least, will be Vekaj down, Kayak slipped through, gets nothing for a while, he survives a long time. But when he's dropped, it's a disadvantage for Fnatic. It's an op walking through the smoke, and he got one! He got one for free! Right
still
out of
doesn't
there,
know there's a guy in the
chasing them
corner.
down, TP'd back, but he's still alive! This man living many lives
now.
in one round, and now he knows right where that other player is. All the while, Crashy's waiting for an opportunity, and it's about to be given, but the shot doesn't land, and Alpha has to do it all. A reload needed, surely. One bullet left. A shorty to work with, and as he swaps weapons, he finds himself peaked by 2, double digits for Eternal Fire in a very important round 1.
It's just, it's funny because Eternal Fire win the round, but I felt like the highlights there came from Alpha. Like, it just crazy stuff. Like, he manages an opener from above here, but then just the gaps running through the smoke, hitting a wall bang. It makes no sense, but solid trades.
One enemy.
In the end, an Echo in that backline, safe pair of hands.
Do you see the way this guy kills people?
The thing is, with that round, I'm not even sure who he was talking about. It could be anyone.
I think it was Echo. Oh, yeah, I think it might be Echo.
Good chance he was. Good chance he was talking about Echo. Yeah.
That is nuts. Just walked straight down mid, eviscerated Vekaj, and then just walks out like nothing happens.
Yeah, you see a Viper with a pit online in that position. It's usually terrifying, but we didn't get a chance to do anything. At least kept for later, but Eternal Fire, they'll flood in off that space. They know the what?
All right, don't go near Kaya. You show him a pixel, and you no longer have a head. Back to a 4v4, couple of ridiculous kills, but the post plant is going to be in. Viper's pit available for Echo, and there you go. He has to leave his safety. Crashy's now taken space, but also could reveal the positions of the remainder. And look how low Echo is in the corner. He's not going to survive. Caught by an operator. The remaining defenders of that spike surrounded. Well, nowhere left to go. It's all on to Neki. First comes easy, but he knows there's another up above. Crashy's locking them down. Again, Fnatic will reclaim their lead.
Yeah, listen, your ranked teammates in Crashy's position, they're either swinging that dry or they're using their flash and singing Maroon 5 as they run it down. But he has the patience to sit behind that box, and that's even in the replay, man, disgusting. Oh, he did. He popped the Viper's pit. That guy loses the pit. I thought it was an orb we caught.
No, he ran into the pit. He ran into the pit.
Oh, my goodness. The disrespect palpable. And right after hearing Crashy say, you see how this guy kills people? Yeah. And then he does that? Outrageous. 11 on the board for Fnatic. Eternal Fire, you know, they have very much put some bumps in the road. They have made this an uncomfortable journey for Fnatic, a team that the majority of people out there, whether they be fans or analysts on our desk, you would think that this is going to be Fnatic rolling, that it needs to be them rolling, but Eternal Fire, they have shown us that flair. This double duelist, the sky, it's working wonders for them. But the final hurdle where they fell last time, it may be the same again.
Well, yeah, this buy also absolutely sucks. And they just gave the rifle over to Izzy, by the way. And he is peaked and died immediately. No chance from here onwards unless the utility can do an unfathomable amount of delay, which I'm going to go ahead and tell you, it can't. They are not in a position to really do anything from here. The same bite's already gone, and Already, players just waiting to get that defusal done. Eventually, Echo will fall 12-10. Fnatic now just a round away from the 2-0 that many would have expected, but the fashion, it's not quite telling the story, that score.
Oh, there's going to be people out there who are going to go on to VLRC. Oh, it was a 2-0 to Fnatic? Yeah, that was expected, but this game was anything but
Obviously, it's an easy point for my pick'ems.
Yeah, it's going to look the same. My goodness, Eternal Fire. They came out swinging. They brought them to overtime on map 1, but even that was underwhelming considering the fact they were 9-3 up. For Fnatic to do this again, give them a chance, hang the carrot in front of their face before snatching it away. Echo, he's made some space. He's already up close, but Vekaj,
not this time.
He's the one to shut him down. Whether he was ready or whether he reacted, it's fine. They've got the sight and the plan to come through from Eternal Fire at least.
Well, it's about to get a little bit more difficult. I don't think that's hit onto anybody. Well, eventually Izzy strikes. A quick double, giving them the man advantage. OT still very much possible, but maybe not with Althea hitting shots like that. Izzy is left to try and close, and they both got caught by the Tiger. Both stunned up. Solid util to back up the duelist. Eternal Fire bring it to 1. OT in the last map, which they lost. Maybe this time they can take it to OT and bring the map home.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, Alpha was bloodthirsty there. He dropped out of heaven, started shooting his own teammate. He was willing to take anyone out. Sounds like a Spanish caster. In the end, it ends up being Izzy, again, to carry that mantle forward, the spark of hope. They fanned into a flame as they push towards 12. One more round for this attacking side. Go get your gun out. That could have been very risky. Hayak hiding in the smoke will be caught. Echo gets away with it again. Such an annoying player to come up against. And they're not even planning to go in this direction.
He's made it on site. He's just walking through utility. Like Althea, I don't think he's seen him. I don't think he has any idea. Well, maybe no, he's watching mid. He has no clue. Vekaj should just walk down to the open. Vekaj's got to be so confused. A second ago, you just saw him kill your teammate, and now Althea is the only point of call. That hit. Ordaz is down to 5 HP, and he's trying to go through. The risks he's taken on this agent have been impressive. But can they do anything more? No, both are caught, and the remaining 2 sectioned out. Fabian is still pressing forward, just about gets away.
One more flash just came online. I don't think. Oh, I didn't think he'd get a chance to use it, but there it is. Popped a little too close. Ordaz still able to see. And takes that kill for free. Alpha 1 against 3 with a chance here to close out the map, but no quarter given by Eternal Fire. 12-12. It will be another overtime. They bought themselves a bit more runway.
It's a weird scenario to be in, because obviously when you get into this group stage, those initial games they're so important. But Fnatic, we've already mentioned, the Vitality up next. It is a game that if they taste defeat here, it would be an insane matchup to potentially even put them 0-2. For Eternal Fire, though, this is a statement. Like, you come into a group where, well, it's an utterly stacked group. If you're looking at the sort of like history, but also the teams that have been built, BBL, Fnatic, Vitality, GX, Pacific, there's the ones in the group. There's no easy games.
Launching smoke.
Blinded.
But at the same time, at the beginning of the day, we heard Echo say that BBL might be #1. But not only did they put themselves #2, but also that they think Fnatic and Vitality are bad, which to come in on day 1 for you, that's a bold statement.
Yeah, only able to play in this league since 5 days after kickoff ended. He's already playing confident, speaking confident. Maneki and Fabian and Echo, the man we're talking about, all dropped in the blink of an eye. Fnatic
Spike planted.
putting up one hell of a fight in that initial. Oh man, they've even got the pit with the plant. Now what do? How do you fight back through this without Echo to just walk in and dome Vekaj? It should be a near impossible feat. He's not even put his orb down.
Yeah, but something we spoke about when Vekash joined this roster was the replacement of Chronicle. There's a lot of things you can talk about the Chronicle has that many other players don't, but the main thing was the clutch gene.
Yeah.
Winning rounds when you needed them the most. Well, I would argue that the obvious one with that is overtime. And this guy is just flying. Like, you put him in these rounds, and that is where he seems to deliver his greatest hits. And well, that's going to be a hit to the confidence of Eternal Fire, facing up against another map point in Fnatic's favor. But again, a chance for a repeated scoreline, potentially 2 12-14 defeats. It'll be a real rough way to lose your first series.
Especially against a team with the reputation and legacy of Fnatic. To go home as the team that bested them in week 1, that set them off.
There.
Well, Fnatic came in with their name as Eternal Fire looked to take it. They've been taking names, they've been doing damage, but falling at the final hurdle. That was the theme of map number 1. They had them on the ropes, but let them slip through, and now Fnatic, they may do it yet again. Steal this out from under Eternal Fire. But this attack side, especially on Breeze, it was the main strength of Eternal Fire lay. It was direct hits, it was overwhelming Fnatic, but they spread in a default, at least to start.
It seems like for now, though, Fnatic have the right read. Again, the credit to Crashies. He's got so much info. Like, he's just jiggle peeking over towards B long. The chances of you going B while sending no one B long is almost 0. He's also then just sent the dog out. And now they have 4 players on the A side. Like, Fnatic have the full read on this scenario because of Crashies' utility.
Full blitz, Eternal Fire, overwhelming that defense by the looks of things. Izzy and Echo, they haven't called Kayak. The shots don't land though, and it will be an extension of play. A flurry of frags as they break through the defense, and Crashies left alone. He has to go for it. I mean, why not? 2 flashes to work with. We'll have to walk through the flames or run that clock down that little bit further. And he has got a 1v1 offered up close. Fabian, low HP. So much more to do after, and he won't even get the first. 13-13. The attack is the safe haven for Eternal Fire. And we'll run this OT one more time.
That has got to be a really infuriating round, because that is you having a full stack on the site because of the early info you got and just getting battered. Like, it wasn't even close, like, on the entries into the site. And okay, a slight win from Kayak, but I think at that point, when you've already lost 3 teammates, I don't think that's the defining part of the round.
Now hold on, the last time they did this, it was read by Fnatic. They found it predictable to play that aggression with a slightly lower buy. This time Eternal Fire, they're going for it right away. Double TP, and the rest playing towards A and back. This is an unusual round if ever you've seen it, but trying to thrive in the chaos. They'll send Alpha back at least, and now their flank completely open on the side of Fnatic. They have to push and press forward. The thing is that there's nothing really stopping them from doing that. Audaz is the only one here. Molly is a weak attempt to slow them, as the site will be overtaken. And the attackers essentially swap sides with the defense.
Yeah, I think they were hoping for a fight, and the fight never really came. They do, however, have a lot of positioning. Not anymore, though. Albeit springs into action. Nice shot from Vekash. Quick enough even while slowed. Now the remaining 2 defenders have a tough ask ahead of them. On Molly, they might just get it to half, but that's really all she wrote. Unless there's a catastrophic error from the Fnatic side, and it's not going to be happening. A clean round again. It seems like the attack side is everything at this point. 14-13, a defensive round needed.
Alpha looks so frustrated despite getting himself a double on that entry. He's slapping himself in the head at the end. Pretty clean double as well, but the trigger discipline from that, guys, that was crazy. Stunned up, it's hard to hit a spray. If you miss that first shot, you're in trouble. And he waits until he's got the kill shot lined up. 14-13. Fnatic again with a chance to close out the map and the series and leave Eternal Fire wondering what if even one more pistol went our way.
Not seeing anything. This could be a false flag. having early control, teleporting away, Fabian putting in the pressure, and has already done fantastic work. And he's going to just dive in. And his teammates are looking to try and put pressure on the other side of the map. He was meant to be the ruse, but the ruse has gone so well, they've started to question if that could just be the take. Fabian again on the entries, and, well, the 1v4 for Crashies didn't go well. How about the 1v5?
Now, he just pushed down B long to see if there was anyone there, and all of a sudden, he's left alone. The snake in the grass in an end zone flawless this deep in the series, this deep in overtime as well. Eternal Fire, they're not giving up on this. And Fnatic, they're gonna have to fight back in another OT where the question remains, who will be the first one to take that defensive round? So far, it's been nothing but attacker success when it comes to these OTs. And a lot of that has come down to the Waylay entries and how much success Alpha and Fabian are finding there.
Yeah, Alpha definitely the score leader, no doubt about that. 30 and 18. We've talked about him picking up that duelist. And at times, it almost feels like it's silly to put him on anything else. Until you watch him play a Vice and still drop 30. It seems like he's going to have to pull out a little bit more. It feels like that first defensive round might just be enough, but as we know in OT, anything you can do, I can do better. The response almost always there. Fabian in a bit of trouble, but the counter utility will hold them back for now.
Yeah, good job they put that wall up, the slow, making them a little bit less effective on the dash. They'll give up that line, at least one player will. Izzy luckily got around that corner just before the force of Fnatic swung, but now they're breaking through, and the neon wall allows them up close and personal with Fabian. Izzy to fall as well. Boaster on the double, and that should be it. Fnatic with a plant coming through any moment now. They give it to the Brim. No, no point playing for the orbital strike. They're just going to clean up, rifles in hand, and Echo, the star of the show for so many Eternal Fire rounds, left with an impossible task. 15 to 14, another chance to close the series.
Yeah, it's just difficult to sort of deal with the paciness of these hits. It's a battle of the shorties.
Headshot.
And then just trading out on Dizzy. There wasn't really anywhere for him to go. Another opportunity for Fnatic, but it as said, it feels like whoever solves these defensive side rounds is going to be the one to take the map home. I think Alpha's lack of operator almost feels like a part of it. He was so good on the defense with it, and well, for now at least, he's just gone through. He's diving, looking for Izzy, but it feels like, yeah, he just has to escape.
At least gets the stun out of Izzy. For Fnatic, a stack up towards A. They had 4 players here, but got overrun completely, sitting back on the site. So aggression starts out their play towards short, and now the walk up on Bath. Izzy's been checking it back and forth, but he's given up the angle just as they walk through. Still finds himself one. Kayak and Alpha that he faced into takes one and gets out with his life. That's a huge advantage early on for the attackers. And it's already been a struggle for defensive rounds to be found.
Moments for either side, the rush through, an angle not clear, but the trades again, quick enough. And Boaster with a martyrdom at least makes it only down to 1 crash. He's definitely been seen. They know exactly where he is. Fabian makes sure that this goes no further, and well, Berlin's final boss looks to try and end this here and now, but 3 players waiting on the other side. He's not even going to make it around the corner. We keep on going, 15-15. Eternal Fire. They've been put under pressure. They've had a lot of map points up against them at this stage, but it doesn't seem to faze them.
And that's the impressive thing. We know about a team like Fnatic that they can go down and always bounce back. We've seen it a million times. And with as tenured a roster as you've got here, there is no surprise. But then you come up against this young, hungry Turkish squad. Some of their players only just allowed to step foot on our stage. And they lost the player that everybody hailed as their secret weapon, bringing Izzy into the roster instead.
Secret.
Yeah, indeed. And yet here they are, standing strong deep into this series with many chances to have closed it for themselves. They might not have had that map point here. I believe they did back on Breeze. And it's been narrow margins that keep Fnatic alive in this series, yet alive they are. 15-15, the attackers winning every round in overtime. Could this be where it changes as Izzy steps forward, hasn't got a clean way out, and the orb up at just the wrong time. That guy's with the opening, but it's a ruse, and Fabian stands to take them all. A double, stunned up, won't get more, but the trade outs, they make this possible. Perhaps the best defensive round we've seen in OT, and it could all come down to the position of Neki, tucked up close.
They still have time. Heal for Alpha, yeah. The superstar of Fabian, his counterpart, is gone. And Alpha gets his ult off the orb.
30 seconds left.
A chance to clear not only this corner, but the back of the site. He's going to try and hide it. He just avoided it. Nobody's checked. Neki's still just sat here, and because of it, he gets one for free. Even still, though, Crash is still standing. Echo has just been waiting patiently, but he needs to find a safe place.
10 seconds left.
Echo just waiting. He's going to try and sneak his way out.
Spike
Getting down as quietly as he possibly can. Position not revealed. No idea from Crashies, and Echo will just about 33 HP. A little bit of luck that will give Eternal Fire that chance, the first defensive round.
After the opening going against them as well, with Izzy dropped like that, they did so well to trade out. Fabian tucked in that corner, getting himself too. That was everything that they needed. Audaz at least trading himself out, and they think that it's open. The Splash even caught him, but they just assumed he's elbow or side and maybe tucked in right after. Never did they imagine that he'd be that audacious.
That's both of the most impactful kills in this round came from Fnatic not clearing an angle.
Yep.
Just the assumption that there wouldn't be anybody there, or that maybe they'd be panicking. And because of that, the Eternal Fire have, wow, not even been gifted. They have taken the round, grasped at it, and now they just need to do the attack round. But as said, the second it seems that the team managed to get a defensive round, that's where things switch. And I mentioned it in the last, that Alfia's operator was a huge part of their defense and hasn't been seen thus far. He now has it in this round.
Perhaps that's a sign of the desperation of Fnatic right now. Again, a squad that many would pin them to dominate. But Eternal Fire, they've pulled no punches. This isn't a game of mistakes for Fnatic, with the exception of the previous round. There's been perseverance from Eternal Fire. They push into this side, overwhelming at least the front lines. Crashies was doing so well, holding it down, but dropped. They did enough damage to make this favorable, and I'm surprised to see Echo stepping forward. That is a brave play, but the reward found on the shorty out to close it. A double from Echo with Neki on the final shot. It's 17-15. It's
a streak that was undeniable, and okay, the comp has changed slightly, but not a whole lot. They've kind of kept to what they know. The other side of things, a very different look.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious to see how Echo's going to be playing. There's a lot of discussion on the desk there about it, but Eternal Fire expected to play a little more direct. It will start with him playing on one side of the map and four trying to pressure towards A main. Crashies has managed to take no damage and spam out Fabian right off rip. That's about, whoop, that, I think he tried to jump on the platform that used to be there. It's not there anymore. A few changes to this map. Odin players, well, they're really struggling in these days. First Ascent, and now this.
You can spam the other wall.
Someone has to stop them. Don't even start, Tom. You're gonna make me angry.
That's good. That was the goal. I'm glad it's gone. Screw the Odin. Map's been improved. Wonderful stuff.
Blatant rage bait, but it is working.
It's also what I believe. Oh, fights back and forth, but it is an evening up from Eternal Fire. Not for long, though. Crashy's still waiting behind. We'll allow them a plant. An old faithful one, maybe not. Kayak a little bit ahead of the curve, and Izzy now left to try and turn a pistol. In the last map, it was Alfia pretty much doing everything in the pistol rounds and closing them out. This time, he hasn't really had to do too much. We'll see if the Turkish duelist on the other side has a chance.
Well, Izzy has been very impressive, but the death ball on the other side should put a stop to any chances. He does isolate the first, but fails to convert the kill. Kayak's still alive. They know where he is. As slippery as he can be, Crashies is on the hunt. 3 kills from him in this round. His Sheriff laying down the law as Fnatic find a 1-0 start.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the time when I see like Vito play, I think that's going to be a big talking point because, again, expectations initially was that this agent could light the world on fire. Never really happened. I had a few moments here and there, but I feel like especially on the attack side, it can be difficult to really find that same level of value. On the defense, I think expectations are he's going to be able to get into aggressive positions. He's going to have trap plays to make things awkward. He's going to be able to deny a lot of these early takes, but I want to see if he can have the same impact because Echo has been fantastic on attack. He's been so good at finding impactful kills and just being a general annoyance. So if they lose that, that's a worry for me.
They've done such a phenomenal job on the side of Eternal Fire, keeping themselves alive in maps that definitely were hitting the mental boom. You could see it even from Afro and some of the coach
He's
camps.
just walked on to see.
He has indeed. But they've managed to fight through all of that.
Go, go, go.
Come out looking relatively strong. Now, Seaside taken, an outlaw that you have to push back into. There are definitely problems on the horizon in this round, and the question is how much can they get? They shouldn't win this on Eternal Fire, but they could do a lot of damage.
Yeah, the time now ticking in their favor. Fnatic were pretty much all set up for the retake, but there goes the sniper. There goes a lot of the real chance to do damage in this round. The clock becomes their greatest ally, and maybe the only one they have left. Everybody falling to Sat in the corner. In fact, it will be not a single player being able to do any relative damage to the side of Fnatic, and while keeping everybody alive and in zone flawless. We'll put them 2-0 up.
Yeah, a lot of dangers in that round. Seaside taken. You've got an outlaw that you're up against as well. It did a ton of damage off rip. But the paranoia just hitting that little bit late. They can't convert off of it. Good ideas, but execution, well, it was their head on the chopping block. Here is where things can change, though. We come in with Eternal Fire, sitting with rifles for the most part. Odd as, you know, there has to be someone biting the bullet for that outlaw. It was a reasonable investment. It didn't quite have the impact we were looking for. And now Odd as is the good old team player to bite that bullet. Fnatic have got a decent buy, though, across the board. With 2 outlaws brought through, it is only going to be Fabian that's one shot to that. But even then, a 140 tag is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, or if they both hit him at the same time, doesn't matter.
Indeed. They are playing together, so yeah, there's always a chance.
The 1-2 punch. Oh, we haven't seen an early start for Fnatic. It has always been a 9-3 half, an 8-4 half, and then a climb back into it. So they can win this bonus, it would be huge, and that's one hell of a start. In fact, a double up of openers, an attempted reaction, but well, even with the vulnerability, it made no difference. And wow, the last one was nice. They decided to do it twice. Another in-zone flawless for the side of Fnatic. That is a clean start to this.
Oh, this game has been back and forth. There's always a streak at the start. Someone finds momentum. But for Fnatic finding it, that's where I get very afraid. Double in-zone flawlesses. This is a team that we've seen bounce back. We've seen we've seen them climb back into games, but once they get the reins, it's very...
Map where I think most, including myself, would argue Boaster does his best calling, especially on the attack. I think the mid-rounding they've always had has been fantastic. So from an Eternal Fire standpoint, it must be something that they've been doing well in practice, expected to beat, but clearly from the coaching side, it's like, okay, not even just, okay, we've lost a buy round to a bonus, whatever. There must have been something either in the communication or the way the players were reacting to it that goes, okay, I need a pause now because otherwise I can see this spiraling.
Better get ahead of that issue. Well, there's Fabian down already. It's a very low buy from Eternal Fire, so not too much of a concern. We're seeing Echo not with the pack. He's been waiting for aggression, waiting for space to be taken on the other side, and Fnatic are not given those opportunities. Safe rotates through spawn, keeping to the space that they know they own, especially up against those lower buys. Previously, when they were on a low buy, obviously they were happy to push up. They were happy to take those engagements, but no advantage being offered up to the opposing side. Now, late playthrough from Echo with a Sheriff. He does stand a chance of catching them off guard, but traded out immediately. Now we look to another hero of the round. Izzy will not be him. Taken down by Alpha, who gets his knife out. Okay, Audaz, better kill. A second goes his way. A tag onto Vikash. It's looking a little bit risky, but a jump into the angle will get him. That frag will find 4 for Fnatic. Phenomenal damage in the end, though.
Yeah, and they needed something because those credits are already starting to get out of control for the Fnatic side. This is where it's only going to get tougher and tougher. Like, they have enough credits to buy straight back in with an operator. They want a bonus in the midst of it as well, so damage is nice, but they now need to start converting it into something. And
Shit,
as I said,
only one bullet, bro. I should jump like that.
it's only going to get tougher and tougher. I think as well, it's worrying for me that Fabian's quiet so far, because in the last map especially, he was the best player in terms of those opening picks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the difference. I mean, the pistol, he got shut down instantly, but not having that waylay to fall back on, you don't get to dive in and find info. That means you have to body check, and that's exactly what the hell am I watching? It's exactly what we saw happen for Izzy there. Goes through to see what's happening. Gets himself shut down by the op. Kayak, a lot of impact early on. Snakebite almost counters that paranoia. They're cut off, or indeed losing health as they go through, risking being taken down while vulnerable, but a risk that's paid off. A plant for Eternal Fire and a shot that doesn't quite land for Kayak. He's sent running.
Again, their backline has been cleared. Their angles to defend from have been diminished, and the paranoia has just left them blind. A singular shot, but Neki just, there's nowhere to go. A nice shot onto Kayak, but it was almost a distraction. Another retake for Fnatic. They have been happy with getting that opener, playing the retake every single round. It is showing the level of comfort that they have on this map.
Neki was really close to that as well. That was like a wrist breaker of a flick to get back onto Crashies, and he was pretty close for a 180.
Yeah.
But in the end, that's the problem. You play slow, you don't know at what point the utility has to be committed to force them back, and because of that, there are constant windows for that operator to find openings. Play that bit more aggressive. And of course, the fact that Kayak being on the waylay, he can really push that, you know, the angles that he can be on won't just be conventional ones. He can play much more aggressive with a one-click solution to get right back out of there.
Yeah, they've also got so much delay.
Boaster obviously on the op too. We can't overlook the Eccles. The Omen opping.
Oh, this is the problem. You try and go diving in, and two of them have died to the combination. Nice from Audaz.
Last player standing.
Neki's going to be dealt with. There's nowhere else to go. We mentioned it. What can be done to try and basically stop anybody just running through all of that utility? Well, it turns out if there's a snakebite alongside the orb and then alongside the utility of Killjoy, that does quite a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean, already when you're running...
Look at his health.
Jeez. When you're running through that, you take your insta-decay, you get hit by the alarm bot, and then land
you guys
yourself...
don't know how to walk, bro. Walk.
Smack bang in the middle of the
He sounds like, you know, the corridor monitor, like at school. It's like the guy who's like, do you not know how to walk?
Oh, goodness. Oh, well, a little bit more damage taken right off rip. They thought they had Vikash cornered, but he ends up landing the kill. But then there's a response. Vikash is on fire. He's just dropped Spike. He snake bites main. They can't push off the nade.
Oh, okay.
I didn't expect Kayak to run, but the nade was kind of forcing his hand. They have to fight back into this. Favored, and Vikash catches them with their knife out, and then they're looking the wrong way. Boaster easily shutting down Fabian, and the showstopper Well, there's no stopping this show. On the defensive side, 6 in a row and a 2 versus 1. Half HP on Izzy, Spike down in the open. He can try to run his way in there, but this is going to be a difficult round.
At this point, he's just trying to sell the idea that he's somewhere else. But Boaster is just locked in on that angle. The second he sees anything, Akash will swing back the other way. He is going to have to try something a bit more risky, otherwise, yeah, he's just walking to his demise. I thought the 6-0 at the start of the day on Breeze was going to be the biggest lead we saw. Not the case. 7-0 for Fnatic. Well, okay, this one was at least a little bit closer.
Come on. We saw that from the other player's perspective as Audas through the paranoia. We saw it hit Bekaj. In fact, he was just full spamming it, and then the showstopper looking the wrong way because they know where one player is.
Fastest in the West.
Fastest in the West. Can we pull up his stats from map 1 and 2?
Yeah. C-site, you're wrapped on through C. There's not really been any control. They try and fight for the C-site. They have to run through all the utility. And Fnatic even seem to have the read on what they're going to do. They are set up with a convergence path ready and raring to go. This could be perfect. If they push this smoke, they're going to be met with an ult.
Yeah, the best part is if Boaster's showing the off, or indeed the jump peak like that, you don't expect a player on the right. Now here comes Paranoia on the left, ult on the right, and Alpha surrounding them all. This is wonderful from Fnatic. It's like they have the playbook out in front of them, and the fastest gun in the West, self-proclaimed, finds himself another as Izzy falls. It's all on Audas. A timeout, their second timeout, their final chance to touch base with the coaching staff, and they come out of it to a complete anti-strat, and the man himself, the leader of Fnatic, with a triple. That is devastating.
It's a perfect setup. You literally couldn't get a better setup if you tried. That was just knowing that, okay, we've had so much sort of love over towards that C side of the map, our ability to push through the back line.
One ping.
One ping.
But yeah, just being able to catch the fires on B, the adaptation from Eternal Fire makes sense. You want to try and take that ground away. So they set up with a convergence path. They trap them in an impossible scenario. And again, this is why a lot of teams opt to try and avoid them on this map. Kayak has been caught. That's a gun in hand. But they have to almost win this round. Like, you're looking at a low buy and going like, okay, maybe they could do damage. No, not anymore. Damage doesn't mean anything anymore.
Okay, lockdown goes in. That's going to slow the B take at least. Send them scattered in another direction. A rifle picked up for Izzy. And Alpha steps forward. He's got a nice spot now. The off drawing their eyes as he's good for one, but the flash is perfect. Neki does well. Boaster has to back off, create a little bit of distance, a little bit of space, and he doesn't go for the dog. Straight onto Izzy through the smoke. Wonderful work from Boaster. He said he's unstoppable with the off, but now he's gone to the Sheriff, and he is putting them away. Another round for Fnatic. The flawless streak continues. An Eternal Fire, they look like they're out of answers.
No, they're even getting the openers in some of these rounds. They're even starting them strong. By the way, Boaster is 11-1. Like, that is the point we're at. A screw it, I'll do it myself sort of vibe. As his operator has been impressive, but as you said, it is just the constant repositions. It looked like there was an opportunity to deal with him here, but just never got the chance. Backash with the cover, who, hey, he's 11-3 as well.
Fastest in the East.
I whiffed twice. We don't talk about that round.
We don't need to. Crashy saved his ass as well. That seize that went through stopped them from pouncing on him. And there he is, down and out early on. I was going to say the outlaw in the hands of Alfier. It's not going to find any success. Flashed off the angle on C, but look how hesitant Eternal Fire are. Echo closing in a lot of distance towards this A site, but he is in trouble. Luckily, his TP's positioned just close enough for him to get out. Very nicely done. A little bit of aggression that should leave this side of the map lighter defended, although it hasn't. Alpha's the only one there. But the B side very much doubled down on. And now, as they make it through that wall, these players are isolated. A TP taken to the back of A. This is a chaotic round from Eternal Fire. They're running the gauntlet, but they found themselves a wide open site as a result of that C and B fake.
It almost seems like Fnatic are just waiting at this point. No worries with the economy. They will be risking it for a biscuit here, and the only post-plant ult available is Echo's ability to evolve, which I don't think will be too helpful here, unless he wants to run through a snake bite or something on the way in. Instead, though, almost just needs to be patient. Echo waiting, watching. He doesn't win the fight.
Oh,
an opportunity gone, but Neki quickly responds. Izzy with Operator in hand. He's got a freebie. Not looking the right way. And now Alfier is all that stands between Eternal Fire and their first round. That first round that, well, they've been hoping would come quite a bit earlier. He can look to make this one quite expensive, but 2 will survive. Finally, they reach the board for the first time in the third map, but that mountain is taller than ever.
Yeah, you saw the instant priority shift there from Alpha, where he just doesn't want them to get away with the op. Going to try to contain them as much as he can. And TP from Audaz, though, put a spanner in the works. Nicely done by Eternal Fire, as you said, though. That comeback is going to be tough. It is a steep, not hill, but mountain to climb.
Yeah.
8 rounds down, and the half isn't done yet. It's been nothing but success for Fnatic. The off back in the hands of Boaster, and he has been virtually untouchable with it.
Okay. Evolving allows them to get straight past the C's. The problem is that C aggression has succeeded once again. Something Fnatic have just thrived within. Already gaining so much space across the map. Prowler obviously doesn't connect onto him. Echo's getting so much space. His ultimate is helping him out to potentially find crashes, but they're playing Ring Around a Rosie. He doesn't even realize that death could strike at any turn, not knowing where this player is, but that's the space they were looking for. And with Crashies being the only real defender of this side of the map, if the spike gets across, that should be enough for a plant, and well, it will.
Really nice usage of Echo. Echo's ultimate being put through there. I think that it takes a little bit of getting used to, right? You don't see it all too often. You pop that Prowler through and you think you're safe, but not even close to it. This is going to be a second for Eternal Fire. And if they can get it to 9-3, hell, Fnatic did it over on Breeze. You got to believe if you're the boys in the chairs, but from our perspective, it's certainly looking a near impossible task. 2 in a row. Start to inspire some faith, though.
Yeah, I do think that, again, for an 18-year-old, Echo's sort of read on the game is fantastic. Like, the fact that he knows the space delay comes off the C's. I can walk through that. I know for a fact that if he's going to check for info, it's probably going to be off a Prowler. Like, he takes all that space with perfect timing, and then even reads that, like, okay, I've wrapped around far enough, let's go back the other way so I can't get spun on. Just clever stuff from such a young talent. It has been a rough map, though. And as I said, the expectations on the defense, I think that's where his utility belt helps him out a little bit more. It's not worked on the attack.
There.
One last round to play for. Find this and a pistol with the follow, okay. Maybe the game is still on. Very nicely done. Is he able to get the opening off the back, off the boom bot?
Toxins going up.
Fnatic aren't giving. West,
Quickest in the West.
whatever it was, we'll ask him afterwards.
Hope he's talking about the operator.
Well, I've heard stories. 10-2 is the score as we get back into the game. A more convincing half than what we saw out of Eternal Fire on half one of Breeze. A big comeback needed for the defenders, and they started with a bit of an aggressive flare, a very aggressive flare. In fact, pushing up to B will be 3, make that 1 as a double found by Alpha. Lights out start from this man. He is making his mark when it comes to pistol rounds.
Yeah.
There's a reason Fnatic are doing so well in them.
Well, yeah, I think the last one earlier in the map was the only one where he didn't really do too much. He got a singular kill. I think he got 4 and 3 in the one before. Yeah, he thought about it. Thought about the knife kill, but realized that with how this game has gone so far, with OT being the theme, maybe it's just best for the execution. And while Vekaj is just going to opt to take space, bear in mind he's on 3 HP. So just planting himself in maybe a bit of an off angle or aggressive position has allowed Neki to cross through, though. So there will be a player on the site, however, incredibly low on HP. It would almost have to be a mistake. Come on. Having that refract available is enough to escape any danger. Ordaz 1 versus 3 to try and turn this pistol. Kayak already holding. We'll have info.
Blinding. That should be the end for old Ordaz. And I want to just touch on that. We started the half by talking about Vekaj, and I was very much in the camp of like, I mean, I don't think this guy was great on mates. It wasn't somewhere that you had a chance to shine, I'm sure, but the reality was it seemed like a left field pick, and yet I very quickly, and maybe it's just because I love Viper, I love seeing good Viper play, but I very quickly became a massive fan of this man. Vekaj has climbed up in my estimation, certainly from when he debuted in the league, which on the other side for Eternal Fire, it's going to be hard for Echo to fall, to keep up with the expectation he set in those first 2 maps.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. And obviously this is a slower performance, but that is across the entirety of the team. A very tough final map for Eternal Fire from what we've seen so far, and it's going from bad to worse with the pistol loss and now a low buy where naturally you play a bit looser, you try to get aggressive,
they fully
but it hasn't worked out. Yeah, but I'm playing Sheriffs and Shields. Yeah, at 11-2, if you're playing the Eco, you're a madman. But this is usually just the last breath before death.
Be right back.
Yeah, they need to win this if there's going to be any chance of a comeback, and I don't think many are believing at this point. Vekaj again. Another on the body pile, and the Sheriff not so kind this time. Fabian, he's in a good position, and they are trying to watch for him, but he's been able to slow the plant a little bit under pressure, and the Seas will hold him in place. Nowhere to go, being hit by every single piece of utility. Oh, well, no surprise that Crashies has an assist off that one. 12-2. Fnatic's final form showing up in map number 3, and I think there's going to be a lot of squads now looking at this Lotus and going, yeah, you know what, if this is a 3rd map, or a choice of a 3rd map, I'm not going there.
Let's go anywhere else, yeah. The old line certainly showing its teeth on this final map.
Yeah, that's a Lions roll.
And you do a a comparison of sort of the vibe check down there, half one, map 1, and now unbelievable the difference night and day. As Fnatic look to close this one out here and now. Plenty of opportunities to do so.
It seems unfortunate that we're not really going to get to see the defensive Echo veto, because even in this round there's no weaponry for him to play with. A Sheriff alongside the utility belt. Neki started off strong. They've seen this already. They might start strong, but it just doesn't finish that way. Izzy already dropped, and that's the A site completely open. A flank coming in, but there is an alarm bot available and walking through the utility. They are just walking to their deaths, it seems. Fabian trying to get back into position. They are checking every nook and cranny. That's one at least, and now the timing is there, but it will be Crashies to close. A bit of a peter out, unfortunately, for Eternal Fire, as it will be a 13-2.